Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're doing episode number 10 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build my viewers' teams into the best teams possible for my team unlimited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have, what their squad's looking like, things of that nature. If you want to be involved in a future episode of this series, make sure you go drop a follow to my Twitter. My Twitter link is always in the description down below, so make sure y'all go check out the Twitter, drop a follow over there, and be on the lookout for a tweet about this series on Friday or Saturday. Typically like to drop this series on Saturday. The last couple weeks I've had to drop it on Sunday, but I'm gonna try to get back to dropping it on Saturday as soon as possible, hopefully starting next weekend. But actually, I say that next weekend is quals, so probably will be the weekend after that we get back to Saturday. Next weekend will probably be on Sunday. But that being said, make sure you go drop a follow to the Twitter. That's where I put out a tweet about this series all the time, basically. So yeah. Before we hop into this video, if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 3,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. I would really appreciate your support if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, without further ado, let's hop right into it. Start off with first team. Comes in from my boy Sync. He's got 100K. He's running John Wall. One thing about Sync, I know him. He's one of my guys. John Wall is his favorite player of all time, so I totally rock with him playing John Wall. When you have a favorite player like John Wall, I mean, that's a guy I think you should keep playing your squad. When they have a really good card, even if he may be a little bit overpriced, which I think John Wall right now is overpriced for what he's actually worth. If he's your favorite player, run the card, have fun with him. That's really the main point of this game. Before anything else, even playing the game competitively, like, have fun with the cards that you really enjoy using, the players that you really enjoy using and enjoy watching in real life, all that stuff. So I'm going to say his starting lineup is elite. I'd probably switch AK and KD in terms of just playing AK at the 3, KD at the 4. This is a small technicality, but I like KD as more of a pop than AK in the pick and pop because of his ability to shoot from deeper and his, I would say, slightly better release as well. So for me personally, I just put AK at the 3 and KD at the 4. That's just kind of a preference thing. Otherwise, there's not really a lot of holes in this team. I mean, you could make an argument that, I mean, I'll say this, with only 100K, I think DBG loves this term, tactically downgrade. I don't even really know if it's a downgrade. I love Dolph. I think it's almost a lateral move. Pick up a guy like Mike and you can sell Dolph. Myken is cheaper. Myken is just as good of a card as Dolph, I would say. And that will free up some MT, and that would give you the ability to pick up a shooting guard if you want to, whether that's a guy like Clyde Drexler or Jaylen Brown, or you could hold on to your MT for content that could be coming in this upcoming week. I have a feeling that content this week is going to be really, really good based on the fact that we have calls next weekend and Thanksgiving's coming up, and I expect that we'll have very, very good content this week. So for me personally, I'd probably sell Dolph and pick up a guy like Myken who's going to be cheaper and give you just as much. And besides that, I don't really think there's anything that you need to do right now for your squad. Gary Payton, a 6'4", can hold it down for that backup shooting guard position, and I definitely think that saving some MT for this upcoming content is going to be a good idea. Next team today comes in from Stix. He's got 500K. He only wants to spend 100 though, taking the DBG save your MT route, and I kind of respect that. I'll say that. I definitely do agree. He says he's on next gen as well, so I respect the saving your MT idea. And honestly, I'm going to say this: you have 100K. I think you can make more than that you're willing to spend by selling this Jamal Mashburn and putting Mikal Bridges at the backup 3. Mikal is going to give you what Jamal Mashburn's going to give you, and honestly, he might give it to you better than Jamal does, because Mikal has a great jump shot. It's very easy to green. He's a knockdown shooter. He's not going to be much of a creator, but he has Hall of Fame interceptor, and he's an elite defender with 6'7" and a really long wingspan, a good player build. He's got one of those Kawhi Leonard-esque player builds with long arms and a big player build. So for me personally, you got great point guards. Your shooting guards are super solid. The Spreel card's not a card that a lot of people have, but he's definitely playable. Carmelo is great. I think you could run Mikal at the backup 3 and sell Jamal Mashburn and save yourself some MT. KG is a great card, obviously. Mose Malone isn't bad, and then Myken I think is elite, and AK is solid as well. So honestly, I'm going to actually make some tweaks to your lineup. I'm going to move if I'm you, this is what I would do. I would move AK to the 3, Carmelo to the 4, KG to the 5, sell Moses. You can leave Myken as your backup 5, put Mikal Bridges at the backup 3, and then look to pick up somebody at the 4. Because I think otherwise, I think your team's solid, but I don't love this Moses Malone card in all honesty currently, and I think you're better off honestly picking up somebody, even if it's a temporary backup 4 and you're continuing to save your MT for content. I think you're actually going to wind up with an improved team if you pick up a guy like Nick Batum or even a Robert Covington to play that backup 4 for you temporarily. Give you a squad of Gary, Clyde, AK, Carmelo, KG, Steve Francis, Latrell, Mikal, Rokor, Batum, and Myken. You're literally going to save MT building that squad, and I think that 10-man is better than the 10-man that you're currently running. So that's just my personal opinion about what I would do with your squad. That's going to save you MT and improve your squad. And for me, that sounds like a win-win. So that's the way I look at it right now. Next team today comes in from my guy Doug. He's got a lot of MT and Steve is in for house. So what I'm going to take that as is you basically have the MT that you need if you want to make some upgrades. You got John Wall, Steve Francis, and Penny Hardaway as your PGs. That's great. I wouldn't change anything. In all honesty, I'd sell this Nate Thurman unless you're holding on to him for 75th anniversary collection lock-in. That's the only reason that I think there's any point to keeping this card. Otherwise, I'd sell him. And besides that, Silas is great. PG is great. Your starting lineup is super solid. You have the point guards and Steve and Penny coming off the bench as well. Backup 2 is the biggest upgrade. I think Matisse Thybulle's a solid card, but I really think you upgrade into a guy like Clyde Drexler is definitely an upgrade. He gives you more on the offensive end of the court. I like his release a little bit better than Matisse's, and defensively he gives you very similarly to what Matisse does on the defensive end of the court. So for me personally, with the amount of MT you have, that's probably about what I'd look to do. And besides that, I think you have one of the best squads in the game. You have a really, really nice team. Could obviously look to pick up a guy like KD, but I'm not going to recommend that, especially when you have these non-auctionable guys like Gerald Wallace and Paul Silas, who are really good cards, and a lot of people don't have. But you save MT by playing those guys who are still elite options at their positions. So basically upgrade that backup too, and I think that's really the only change that you got to make to this team. This is one of the best squads you could possibly build in my team right now. Really, really like the team. Next team today comes in from Hero. He's got 210k, plays on both gens, loves Penny. He's untouchable, and I honestly kind of agree with that. I think Penny's one of my favorite point guards. He's a top 2 point guard, I think, right now in my team. Hero is there because you're a Hero fan, obviously, which is totally cool with me. He says Jaws replacing Francis. All right, well that works perfectly because Jaws is going to be a better card than Francis, I think. But for now, your point guard position doesn't need to be touched. Shooting guard position doesn't need to be touched. Small forward position is solid. Honestly, I prefer Paul George over Clyde Drexler, especially this Clyde Drexler, because this one doesn't get some of the badge upgrades that the other one gets. So for me personally, I'd probably sell Clyde Drexler, move PG to your starting 3, and pick up a guy like Mikal Bridges to play the backup 3. Actually, not even that. What I'd actually do is start PG at the 3, bring AK to the backup 3. Dolphin D-Rob is great at the 4 and the 5, but I'd pick up Mikan to play that backup 4. Get yourself a Mikan, badge him out a little bit, and play him at that backup 4. Or even you could potentially sell Sabonis as well. Pick up Mikan at the backup 5, and look to pick up a guy like KD as well. You will have the MT if you sell Clyde and sell Sabonis. And the reason that I say sell Sabonis is because I know he's a great card, but for one, he's kind of slow, which I think does hurt the card just a bit. And he is ridiculously expensive right now because of the fact that he was a limited card. He is a crazy expensive card right now, but definitely going for a lot more than he's valued at. And I think that you could pick up Mikan for a significantly cheaper price point and make an upgrade to your team there. So you have a couple options. Definitely think your point guard position and shooting guard position is really solid. And I think it's really just a question of what you want to do with that shooting guard, with that small forward and power forward position. Definitely would probably sell that Clyde though, and you can either go the budget route of picking up a guy like Mikal to play the backup 3 or 4, or you could go the route of, like I said, picking up a guy like KD and trying to pick up a Mikan instead of Sabonis as well. So there are a couple things you can do with this squad, but those are probably the 2 avenues that I would consider going with your team. Second to last team today comes in from my boy G Torres. He's got 700k-ish on current that he's willing to spend. Looking at this team, we got a lot of reward cards, and I like that a lot. We got some nice budget guys like Matisse, Bridges, and Sadiq Bey as well, Marcus Smart. So we're using the budget guys and we're using the free rewards, and I really like that. Marcus Smart is super solid. One thing I will say, I noticed you don't have a shoe on him. Make sure you put a ball handle shoe on Marcus Smart. It's worth it. It's not going to cost you a ton of MT to put a diamond shoe with ball handle and some other shoe boosts on him. Just get that ball handle boost on him so that when with a coach, floor general, and that ball handle, he'll have at least the 86 ball handle that he needs to speed boost, which is going to help him out a lot in terms of his ability to run your offense off the bench. Next thing, but if you do that, I think your point guards are fine. Shooting guards are decent, not great. With 700k, I'll be honest, I would sell Matisse and I would buy Klay Thompson. I think Klay Thompson is the best shooting guard in the game by a wide margin. I think he is a phenomenal card, worth paying the 200,000 MT for sure. So I definitely would consider going in that direction. Next, I'm going to suggest that you move Carmelo to the 4, KG to the 5, and Rafe to the backup 5 so that you can take DeAndre Jordan out of your lineup. And I'm going to recommend that you pick up a guy like AK to play the 3. And I think besides that, that's about the only upgrades that I'm going to make. You seem like a guy who likes to save your MT and be smart with your MT and stuff like that. So really, honestly, besides putting that shoe on Smart, picking up Klay, and then picking up AK to play the 3, moving Carmelo to the 4, KG to the 5, Rafe to the backup 5, I think besides that, you're pretty much good. You could, if you want to make one more upgrade, replace Rafe with George Mikan, because George Mikan is definitely a significantly better card than Rafe, but Rafe does give you a solid pick and pop center if you want to use that reward card. So that's one other thing you could do, is pick up Mikan instead of Rafe to play that backup center position. But honestly, really good squad. I like the way that you have it built, and I think if you make a couple upgrades, you'll still have a lot of MT left and have a very, very nice squad all the way around. And then final team today comes in from Wayne. He's got 320k. All of his cards are badged out. He's got GP and Penny, which is great. Klay and Lou Dort, also super solid. Carmelo and McGuire, not bad. Marion, Silas, KG, and Mike, and then you have Francis is another point guard. Okay, so for me personally, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't like George Mikan, or I'm sorry, George Mikan. I love George Mikan. I don't like Sean Marion that much. I know defensively he is elite. His jumper bothers me. For me personally, I would sell him and buy a guy like KD. That's just me. I think, again, it's up to you. It's really kind of a matter of opinion. And then I'm gonna be honest, off the bench, I would sell Aguirre and pick up AK. I think AK gives you more overall than Mark Aguirre does. He's a better defender. I think he may have a slightly better jump shot as well, bigger card as well. I think just overall he's a better card. So that's probably an exchange I would consider making. Besides that, I think you're pretty much good. Another way you could go, if you don't want to pick up KD, instead you could sell Mary and move Carmelo to the 4 and pick up Paul George and play Paul George at the 3. So you have a couple of options in that area, but definitely would probably look to potentially upgrade from Marion and Aguirre. And besides that, I don't think there's anything on this team that really needs upgrading. I think right now you got a really solid squad, very, very well built team as well. So yeah. That is going to do it for this video. Props to y'all. These squads were some of the best squads that I've reviewed all year. Y'all have some really well put together squads, and I really like seeing that. It's good stuff to see out of the community. But hopefully y'all did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.